My name is Kathryn Bzdafka. I'm the head softball coach at Malone University. The medium that changed my life was the movie Freedom Writers and the book Freedom Writers. I was doing one of my field experiences while at Malone. My junior year, I believe, I was at Timken High School in Cheryl Russell's class, and they were going through that book, and then they watched the movie at the end. And it was a predominantly life-changing experience because the people who were in the class had kids, and I remember it was the spring semester, and so I just remember sitting there and they were talking about how many dependents they were going to claim on their taxes, and I was like, my parents still claim me. So that was just kind of being in that environment and experiencing that medium, that book, that this is real life for a lot of people in our backyard, that it might not be my real life experience, but it's right here, and there's a need for that. And the plot of Freedom Writers is there's a teacher who goes into this school, and she faces all kinds of obstacles from within and without to reach at-risk students in the inner city to get them motivated. There were kids that society kind of wrote off as just get them through. There were no expectations for them, no standards for them, and she kind of came in and gave them structure and inspired them to use their gifts and their talents and their voice, which they hadn't been doing before. My favorite part? Probably the whole general plot, people telling her that she couldn't do something and she did. I mean, that was my favorite part. Well, I wasn't initially planning on coaching in the inner city. Through graduating at Malone and having the opportunity to coach, one of my coaching positions was at a suburb school, and our athletic director, the head of this RBI program, his name's John Carter. He's the executive director of the Cleveland Baseball Federation, and he had been pushing me on it all year, like, hey, you would be great at RBI, hey, you would love RBI, hey, you would love RBI. And I was like, I don't really have time for that. I've coached summer ball before. And he's like, just give it a try. So I showed up after the first day, and there were girls walking in without cleats and girls without gloves, and it was just a hot mess. And I called him, I'm like, I'm 100% into this. So even though it's not a traditional classroom, softball is still, what we learn on the field transcends into life. So my experience with RBI was that, it's a program that's funded by Major League Baseball. So these girls who play, they have to be from, the Cleveland team is from the city of Cleveland. There's a Indianapolis team from the city of Indianapolis, Detroit, Anaheim, Atlanta, Houston, all across the country, Hawaii, Dominican Republic. And these girls don't pay a penny to play. It's all funded by Major League Baseball. And they pretty much have the opportunity to represent their city, wear their city across their chest, and go out there and play a sport that they love against people who they wouldn't normally have the chance to meet, let alone play against. And it was just a very humbling opportunity, because I had girls on my team who had more athletic ability than I ever had, but were struggling to even graduate high school and could have gone to college for free anywhere because of their home situation and just didn't fill out the FAFSA. So I felt like my role with RBI was, as much as it was to coach softball, was to help these kids prepare for life and to keep them motivated to graduate high school and to keep them motivated to apply to college and hook them up with people who, if I didn't have the right resources, hook them up with people who did. So some of those girls I still keep in touch with, and it was very humbling to be a part of something that was bigger than the game and bigger than myself. And what that program does and what they stand for is it's unbelievable. I would do it again in a heartbeat. The older that I get, I see, as I look back on my life, even my time here at Malone to my time after Malone, God's hand in everything that I've done, and the way that He's protected me and guided me and prepared me for things that I've faced and I'm facing now and will face in the future through RBI, that got me hooked up with Notre Dame College, being able to coach there, which is sort of inner city compared to Malone. And then through that, playing at Notre Dame, we played against Malone, and that really softened my heart that I needed to come back and help this program here. So having the opportunity to come back and face different obstacles, but rooted from the same issues, that's I mean, I've been prepared for that since leaving Malone almost 10 years ago. So the chance to come back and do that is kind of full circle.